A pair of surging teams meeting in Charlotte. Jalen Brunson and the Knicks going on the road to take on Rookie of the Year favorite Kon Knueppel and the Hornets. This was a dandy. Jalen Brunson wasting no time, getting things started with a tough layup. Both of these teams came out ready. Even with a miss by Kon Knueppel, there's the big follow-up and slam by Brandon Miller. How about that for being off and running out of the gates in the first minute? And we were not done with some early highlight reel plays. LaMelo Ball has been on a tear recently from downtown, and he was on one again tonight. Couple of triples for Ball. Hornets trying to get some revenge. Knicks won the first 2 games of the season series by a combined 43 points with great play from that man, Jalen Brunson. Tough little floater goes up and in. Kon Knueppel looking to answer. He's been 10 of 17 from 3 the last 2 games, including tonight. That triple puts Charlotte up by 4. Late stages in the first, and Mohamed Diawara able to make an impact with an and one ball. It's Diawara on one end for the Knicks. How about Diabate on another for Charlotte? Big stuff. Look out, Jose Alvarado. You got to find Diabate when you're making a drive to the rim. Hornets stay on top by 6, but Mitchell Robinson would get an answer at the rim, able to corral the lob and throws it all down. These are 2 really good teams over the last 15 games. Robinson again able to get the special delivery. Knicks 4th in net rating the last 15 games. Charlotte 1st, and they looked like it in this back and forth. 4-point lead for the Hornets. Make it 7. It's Knueppel's 250th three-pointer of the season. He was unstoppable in this game. Hornets lead extends up to 56-49, but the Knicks would make another big run. It's OG Anunoby from downtown. How about one more time? OG from long range cut the deficit to 5 as we neared halftime. Good battle between the Knicks and Hornets. Knicks playoff-bound, Hornets hoping to get there, and this game felt like a playoff atmosphere. How about this pass to LaMelo Ball, who drills the triple? These guys can do no wrong. How about LaMelo again? 22 points, 6 assists. He hit 4 threes. When Ball and Knueppel are both hitting triples, it is hard for anybody to beat Charlotte. And that was the case tonight. Knueppel does it again. That's his 4th tray, and he wants more. Give it to the con man right over Karl Anthony Towns. 26 points, 11 boards, and 8 assists. All Charlotte in the 3rd quarter, and they continue to roll.
Larson and Kalkbrenner drilled it away. Kalkbrenner saying, get that shot out of here. The big fella sliding over.
Everyone getting involved for Charlotte, even on the broken plays like this. The mid-air pass by Grant Williams somehow finds Diabate. Hornets able to make it work no matter how the possessions play out. Then Grant Williams again with a major play, this time on defense. Gets the big swat in midair. Hornets absolutely feeling it, and here comes the exclamation point. Look out below, Brandon Miller firing up the crowd. The baby in the house, the Charlotte native loves it. Miller and the Hornets are flying high. And how about one more highlight reel play just for good measure? Miles Bridges, that was a 3rd offensive rebound of the set. He had 17 points. Hornets with a 114-103 home win over New York.
Kon, congratulations, first of all, the number 3 team in the East. I don't have to tell you how big this win is, but Coach Lee did tell us that you guys talk openly about the importance of games, the importance of how you guys play. What did you say about this one in particular?
I just like how we stuck to our identity tonight. We came out playing how we want to play right from the get-go, and then just the physicality we played with throughout the night.
I know that you guys will focus in on some of the breakdowns in this 4th quarter. How will that make you guys better moving forward?
Yeah, we had way too many turnovers in the 4th. I'm sure we'll watch that tomorrow, and some of us will watch it tonight and look at it.
When you look at you guys defensively, it's really impossible to pick one guy who stands out. How much do you guys feed off of each other, and how dominant you guys can be on the defensive end?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Musa was awesome tonight on defense. You know, really played his butt off trying to guard Towns, and I thought MV did a really good job starting on Brunson. So that's a really tough matchup, and I thought they were both up to the challenge.
Of course, everything right now is pointing toward the postseason, right? Everything that you guys are doing. What message does this send to you guys, and maybe to other teams, about how ready you guys are for that?
Yeah, I mean, we want to play in big-time games. This is a big-time game. The rest of these games for us are big-time playoff-like games. You know, they determine our seeding, and we want to give us the best chance we can for the playoffs.
New Orleans in the Motor City taking on Detroit. Jalen Duren and the Pistons trying to bounce back. Second leg of a back-to-back after losing in overtime to Atlanta last night. Zion Williamson in New Orleans 6-4 in their last 10. But they'd have to contend with Kevin Huerter moved into the starting lineup tonight, and he had a big impact. A plus 21 when he was on the floor, tying for the team lead. Herb Jones grabs the loose ball. There's Zion up ahead with a power slam. 21 points and 6 boards. 6-4 their last 10. All 4 losses by 5 or less, and all to current playoff teams. Pels have been a thorn in a lot of contenders' side. And here Derek Queen gets the little and one. Pels with an early lead as we go to the second. But Jalen Duren had a big game the last time these two met. 20 points, 15 boards, and a win back in January over New Orleans. Here he's able to go spin cycle and lays it in. Karlo Makovic, though, with the defensive answer, swats that layup attempt by Dennis Jenkins away. Still a tight game when Tobias Harris gets involved late second quarter. First he goes little turnaround Jay, then it's Harris on the assist, finding Asar Thompson. Does the hard work and finishes, and just like that, Pistons up double digits going to halftime, and the roll would continue for Harris into the third quarter. Watch this play in transition. 3-on-1. Lob it up to Harris, who filled the stat sheet tonight. Usually it's Duren with the big slams. Here he sets up Harris, who had 12 points, 9 boards, and 7 assists. But DeJounte Murray and the Pelicans were undeterred, able to fight right back. Murray had been slumping 2 of 13 from 3 his last 3 games, so what do? You drive it to the rim. Down to a 10-point game when the answer comes from Kevin Huerter. I mentioned the plus 21 for Huerter. How about 22 points on the night? New Orleans would have a run in them. End of the third, Saddiq Bey with the friendly roll. A former Piston at 17 in his return to the Motor City. 6-point game as we go to the fourth, but that's when the Pistons turned it on. What an awesome move by Ron Holland to set up his teammate Dennis Jenkins with the 3. He had 19, but what a sick move by the second-year pro from the G League Ignite. Ron Holland makes the lead 17. Pistons pulling away. Jalen Duren drops the hammer. 30 points and 10 boards. Also had 7 assists, a couple steals. Everybody getting involved. Javonte Green puts a cherry on top with a 3. Only Oklahoma City has more home wins than Detroit as the Pistons roll by 21.
Jalen Duren, this was your 8th career 30th-point game here tonight, and we've been seeing you get into your bag a little bit more lately, creating your own. You threw a jumper in there. What has gone into that for you to get to this level?
Just working on my game every day, trying to grow as a player, trying to grow as a human, as a man, you know what I mean? So just testament to the work I've been putting in.
It felt like the fourth quarter is when you guys really blew this thing open. How did the defense spark that?
Just playing Pistons basketball, you know, we're a defensive-minded team first. We were able to put together some styles and get out and run a transition, and that helped everything.
I saw you had a conversation on the bench with Kevin Huerter when he finally checked out of tonight's game. I mean, the way he's been playing lately, how have you seen him just get more comfortable with your guys' group?
Yeah, I told him he loved that step back, but Kevin Huerter, I mean, he's been great. Ever since he got here, I think he's fit right there with the team. He's been a guy who's been more than a shooter. He's been a guy who can get to the rim, make plays for others, and I mean, it's been a joy for me to play with him.
Without Cade Cunningham, a lot of these wins have come by committee. You guys had over 30 assists tonight as a team from all different guys. How are you making it work so well without your leader?
That's what it's going to take. It's going to take everybody top to bottom. I mean, you can't replace what Cade is as a player, what he does for this team, but I feel like we got more than enough guys to, you know, still get wins and still make things happen. And that's what you're seeing tonight.
Sacramento in Orlando visiting the reeling Magic, who have lost 6 straight, now tied for 8th in the East with Charlotte entering tonight. DeMar DeRozan hoping to keep that streak going for Orlando, and Desmond Bane, who could have used a win in the worst way tonight. And Paolo Banchero, despite the team's struggles, had been in great form. 75 combined points over the last 2 games. Here he gets the easy Euro step to lay it in. 5-point lead for the Magic. When DeMar DeRozan comes right back, he gets fouled. That's an and one. Only 8 points per game his last 4 since that 41-point outburst against Utah. Orlando, they could really use some other offense besides Paolo Banchero, and they get it. Wendell Carter Jr. shows off the physicality as we go back and forth. But Orlando with the first big run of the night. Desmond Bane just 3 of 14 on threes his last 3 games, able to break out of the mini funk with a triple. Double-digit edge, only to watch the Kings come right back. Malik Monk and And the Kings last in the West. They lost 3 of their last 4, but here he hits the straightaway triple. Sacramento would come back to tie the game, only to watch Jevon Carter, who has a better 3-point percentage than 2-point percentage this year, 41% dead-eye shooter, reclaims the lead for the Magic. They were up 65-59 at the break. Banchero working hard in the paint, gets his own miss and slams it down. 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists for Paolo, make it 105 points for Banchero over his last 3 games. Once again, no quitting this Kings team. Dylan Cardwell with the slam, coming off a 44-point loss at Charlotte. They'd lost by 37 earlier to the Magic last month. Kings much more resilient tonight as Orlando got the answer with Tristan da Silva. He had 18, nails the 3. It was a 7-point edge. Kings, though, would not go away quietly. It took a lot of hard work, plays in the paint like this. Wendell Carter Jr. fights his way into some traffic and gets the floater. A double-double for Carter, 10 points and 11 boards. And when Desmond Bane goes to work and hits this lay-in, you'd think, all right, Orlando's got this in the bag. 23 points, 6 assists for Bane. They were up double digits, only to watch the Kings make a late charge. Daquan Plowden, straightaway 3, a 23-point effort on a 2-way contract, and somehow it's a 1-point game. Would the Magic really blow this, lose their 7 straight? Well, on a huge possession, Jalen Suggs bails them out. Big-time 3 for the Magic to go back up 4, and they hang on, a 121-117 win.
Paolo, you got the victory. I know it's closer than you wanted, but how much did you just need to find a way and get a victory here tonight?
Badly, dropped 6 in a row. Just had to get back in the W column. Obviously, like you said, it was closer than we would have liked, but a W in the end.
How did you get it? What turned it around? How were you able to close it out here in the 4th?
Just locking in on their guys. DeRozan had it going, had to slow him down, and just getting good looks on offense, getting good possession, stacking them together, and then holding on at the end.
You got 3 straight games over 30. I know you're always aggressive, but you're seeing different defenses every night. How did you attack this one here tonight?
Just being aggressive early, getting downhill, taking what they gave me, and just keeping them on their toes. Also trying to make plays for my teammates.
What do you like about what you're doing offensively as a group? What this team is doing, you're sharing the basketball. Everyone seems to be getting involved, getting an opportunity. What do you like on that end of the floor?
What you just said, everybody getting involved, guys getting clean open shots, and just trying to play together on that end. We need to stack some wins together at the end of the season, and it's going to take great offense and great defense.
9 games left. Lastly, Paolo, you get Jalen back tonight. Is there a sense we can finally start getting guys back and make a run at this thing?
Hopefully, we'll see. Guys is getting back. I know Franz AB is working hard to come back, so hopefully we see them here soon. But till then, we got to hold it down.
Against DeJounte Murray. Kevin Huerter to the lane. Nice lob to JD.
He kept his balance, kept that pivot foot planted.
9 for New Orleans, 8 for the Pistons. Down the lane goes the Pistons' primary scorer these days, big Jalen Duren. Devontae Green on the perimeter, gives to JD.
Against this zone defense right now by New Orleans.
And Williamson on the edge of it. Baseline gun goes to Gordon, shot. He was able to stick it. 8:38 to play in the half. Pass inside to JD to the basket for a score. And a whistle. Marcus Sasser gives to JD. Jalen Duren to the basket, off the glass softly for a score. JD behind the foul line. Fires, fills it up over DeAndre Jordan. Puts his shoulder down, gets inside, stopped by Asar, and the pass is swiped by Jalen Duren. He'll lob it to Tobias for a jam. Unselfish play by JD, and Tobias with a big smile. 76-65 Pistons. JD to the basket. I'll buy the 6'9", I'm not buying the 250. Here's Jalen Duren to the basket on the Piston end. Scores it off the square. And a miss from there by Queen. Pistons, Kevin Huerter lays it behind him for JD and a jam.
I don't know, he's so far underneath that backboard. I thought he was going to crash into it with his arms and mess the whole thing up.
You could be right. JD to the basket for a dynamite dunk. That's It's a look out below dunk. 30 for Jalen Duren.
Only 3 games on the Thursday slate. We still had plenty of great action, including in Orlando, Jamal Cain. The big reach back and throw it down, helping the Orlando Magic snap a 6-game losing streak. Our Final Four plays all coming from Knicks and Hornets. A lot of good plays to choose from, including Moussa Diabate. You got to know where he's at, and if you're driving into the lane like Jose Alvarado tried to do, big slam. Charlotte would get the win thanks to this exclamation point. Miles Bridges, the cock back and throw down. They just cleared out the way for Bridges as Charlotte gets a double-digit win. More Hornet highlights at number 2. Even when it was weird broken plays, everything works for the Hornets on this night. Grant Williams hangs mid-air pass and sets up Diabate, who's back in the top 5 for a second play, able to get the easy jam. And at number 1, this was right out of the chute. Brandon Miller charging in for the major throwdown. Charlotte putting on a show. They end up with 4 of your 5 top plays of the night.